Is he making fun of my beard? When Mary and I set out on pigment gathering adventures, we typically search for people and destinations far from crowded tourist spots. Man, we got like a third of a jar of it. However, there are some places and times when the richness and depth of a more visited place is too appealing to pass up. That's the case with the Quechua people, the direct descendants of the Inca in Cusco, Peru. We have information that there's a handful of Quechua women who harvest and sell earth pigments in a street market one town over, in Pisac. Plus, we've come to Cusco at a particularly significant time of year. Inti Raymi, or the Festival of the Sun God, was the largest and most important festival in the Inca Empire. It's a celebration of the sun god Inti, who was the central deity in the pantheon of the Inca. In 1570, after the Spanish conquest, the Catholic Church banned the festival, though it continued to be celebrated by the Inca people in secret. Today it's going strong. During our stay, the Plaza de Armas was alive with music, dancing, and drums and parades. On our second morning, after the obligatory coffee stop, we set out on a mini quest to find the famous 12-angled stone of Cusco. Just before reaching the stone, however, our quest was hijacked by a very adorable local. We're gonna wait for this person to go by. You wanna be in my shot? You can be in my shot. We ready?
Yes.
So here's the famous 12 angle. Fuck. Hi. So here's the famous 12-sided stone in Cusco. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you'll hear people say it all the time, you can't get a sheet of paper between these rocks. Since its construction by the Inca, Cusco has never been abandoned. The structures here serve as a sort of time capsule of the life of the city and its people, with layer after layer of the latest advancements in building materials over the course of 5 centuries being added along the way. We woke early the next morning and began making our way to the ruins of the compound of Sacsayhuamán, the most important spiritual and archaeological site in the area. Before coming to Sacsayhuamán, I researched its history. I had paragraphs memorized about a tribal war with the Chanca people and another one 100 years later with the Spanish. I was ready to hold the camera out in front of me and talk about how the Inca fought so hard that even without the advanced weapons the Spanish had, it still took the invading conquistadors 3 years before they would finally take this compound. And finally, how most of Sacsayhuamán was dismantled,
its perfectly interlocking stones unceremoniously carted down the hill and used to build foundations for Catholic churches and colonial buildings. But when I got here, the specifics of all that I'd memorized didn't matter to me anymore. I simply felt the gravity of hundreds of lives lost to the construction of this place, to multiple wars, and to human sacrifices performed to ensure bountiful harvest seasons. After wandering along the zigzag walls, through winding corridors, and up and down the many stone staircases of the main compound, we made our way to the other side of the complex, to an area known as Cochincanas. Although the purpose of this area of the ruins is debated, it's been scanned and found to hold what seem to be large burial tombs, leading some to believe that it was a funerary ritual site. Others believe it was a large man-made pond. Because the Inca practiced both human and animal sacrifice to ensure a bountiful harvest, making those sacrifices part of their agricultural watering system would make sense. Either way, both Mary and I felt the gravity of this place, and a deep sense of reverence as we made our way around it in silence. As we began to leave the complex and make our way down to Cusco, we noticed a cave entrance on the perimeter of Cochincanas. I think most people who know me at all would describe me as having an extreme, often obnoxious level of curiosity. I'm often asked if I was the type of kid who would take his toys apart to see how they worked. I wasn't. My curiosity manifested in much more inconvenient ways. If I'm hiking and a trail forks, I can't not know where both trails lead. A door that doesn't lead to an obvious room has to be opened and explored. And a cave opening can't not be entered, even if it means crawling on my hands and knees. I simply have to know. Luckily, Mary's curiosity is as relentless as my own. We woke the next morning, excited to finally make our way to the Pisac market. We arrived just as the market opened with a small Quechua ceremony. A group of boys that were part of the ceremony turned and were taken aback by the wild-looking man behind them.
Is he making fun of my beard?
With the market properly blessed, it was time to find the pigment booth that we had heard about. Being the off-season for the market, the booth was much smaller than I expected, but the colors were no less spectacular than we had seen in our research.
That's amazing.
We were helped by Maria, who told us that the Quechua women who own this booth take turns running the booth, while the others harvest and process pigment. I showed Maria my painting process and what the finished paintings would look like. After some thought, she steered me away from the pigment I thought I wanted for something stronger and less translucent, for which I was grateful. She was caught off guard by the size of our request, so she invited us to come back to her home where she kept the bulk of her pigment supply.
Pero también podrías llevar en esto, y hay otro que es muy bonito también, celeste, también puro.
Ah, ok.
Pero ese es más caro, pero muy bonito, muy.
paintings created from our time in Cusco are infused with not only the pigment we acquired while we were there, but with the energy we felt during the Inti Raymi festival, our time at the sacred Inca stronghold at Sacsayhuamán, and the amazing experience we had with the various Quechua people we interacted with in the city of Pisac. Those paintings are available on my website.